Hey guys, Osight has just dropped 2 new red dot sights. And by just, I mean a few weeks ago from the day I'm recording this video. So today we're talking about the Osight C and Osight K. Let's take a closer look, shall we? As always, we'll start with a quick unboxing, but there's nothing out of the ordinary. The packaging is pretty much identical for both optics. The only noticeable differences are the included screws and the optics themselves. Sharp-eyed viewers might have noticed that these red dot sights aren't quite the same size. And some of you surely also noticed the resemblance to Holosun's C and K series of red dots. This won't be a full comparison of Osight versus Holosun, but I do want to mention a few similarities and differences. The naming scheme is the most obvious similarity. They also share the same form factor. So the Osight K and the Holosun K are both meant for smaller firearms and are ideal for concealed carry. Both are compatible with the Holosun K footprint standard, but the Osight K is also compatible with the Shield RMSC footprint standard, which is similar but not exactly the same. Meanwhile, the Osight C and the Holosun C use the Trigicon RMR mounting standard. Both are a bit bigger and better suited for full-size pistols. Also, the Holosun C has a solar panel, while the Osight does not. However, both Osight red dot sights are noticeably cheaper than their Holosun counterparts, which is quite an important factor to take into consideration. I'd also like to mention a few of my personal impressions. At first glance, the build quality feels comparable to Holosun, though true durability can only be judged after a long-term use, which unfortunately we don't have the chance to do. One thing I really like about the Osight models is their buttons. They're larger and give clearer tactile feedback when pressed. But some might prefer the smaller buttons Holosun uses. On the downside, Osight models don't have a lockout function for the brightness setting, which is pretty common on other brands. Also, the maximum brightness seems just a little bit lower compared to Holosun. But I do have to praise the design of the battery tray on the Osight, which is nicely integrated into the housing, unlike on the Holosun where it sticks out a bit more. By the way, if you'd like to know more details about the Holosun C and K series, you can check out our older videos. The links will be in the description below. And while you're down there, I'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. Thanks! As I mentioned earlier, the Osight C and Osight K are meant for different types of pistols due to their size. But I really appreciate the fact that they kept the same aesthetic between the two. Unlike the Holosun C and K series, which kind of looks like one of them is adapted. But the Osight red dots looks like true siblings, even though one of them probably shrank in the dryer. They share the same key features: a side-loading battery compartment, a motion activation sensor, and 10 brightness settings. Their waterproof rating is IPX6, which isn't bad considering the price. For comparison, Holosun offers IP67 protection on their models, which provides more complete dust resistance and protection against immersion. Osight, on the other hand, is only tested against powerful water jets. I say only, but it's still pretty impressive. The housing of both devices is made of aluminum. They both have a low battery indicator and they feature nearly identical controls, which we'll talk about a bit later. The Osight K is designed to allow co-witnessing with most factory iron sights, unlike its bigger brother, but that's to be expected. The Osight K has a 6 MOA dot and uses a CR1620 battery, which has a life expectancy of up to 63,000 hours on brightness setting 3. The Osight C, on the other hand, has a multi-reticle system where you can switch between a 3 MOA dot, a 32 MOA circle, or a combination of both. The Osight C uses a CR1632 battery with a life expectancy of up to 100,000 hours when using just the dot on brightness setting 3. As of now, both optics are only available with a red reticle, and sadly neither of them has an automatic brightness sensor. Both Osight and Holosun have a motion activation sensor. Osight goes into sleep mode after 3 minutes, which I find reasonable. Holosun, on the other hand, only goes to sleep after 10 minutes at the earliest. The sensitivity of the motion sensors on both Holosun and Osight models seems very similar, and the wake-up time is practically instant on both. Both Osight models come with a pre-installed battery, so before the first use you need to remove the yellow insulating film. First, take the included tool and loosen the battery compartment screw. Then pry open the battery compartment and remove the insulating film. Slide the battery tray back in and tighten the screw to up to 6.9 inch-pounds. Nice. The procedure is the same when changing the battery. When installing the red dot sight, please follow the instructions included in the package. You should always use a medium thread locker and the specified torque values when tightening the screws. To turn the device on, press either plus or minus button. To turn it off, press and hold both buttons simultaneously for about half a second. These buttons also adjust the brightness. Hold the minus button for 3 seconds to change the reticle. To adjust your windage and elevation, use these two turrets. And that's everything for today's video. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.